to Kush News, the newscast of the African diaspora. I'm your anchor, Ochanda, daily bringing you the top stories from Africa and the Caribbean. Let's take a look at today's news on Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. We go to Sudan, where the country's violent power struggle have put diplomats at turmoil. International powers have been quick to condemn the ongoing violence between the Sudanese army and the rapid support force known as the paramilitary that has resulted in the death of at least 200 people and has seen diplomatic missions in the country come under attack. On Tuesday, foreign ministers from international countries had met in Japan, urged warring forces in Sudan to end hostilities immediately and return to negotiations. They warned that the fighting threatens the security and the safety of Sudanese civilians and undermines the efforts to restore Sudan's democratic transition. The recent power struggle in the country exploded into violence Saturday between the forces of two generals who seized power back in 2021. Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his deputy, Mohamed Hemeti Dagalo, who commands the paramilitary known as the RSF, Rapid Support Forces. This comes as the European Union and African Union was also attacked in their residence in Khartoum on Monday. The European Union's ambassador, the 58-year-old Irish diplomat, was not seriously hurt, but according to other sources, the assault was a gross violation of obligations to protect diplomats under a convention. However, the European Union has said that the European delegation in Sudan has not been evacuated and that security measures are being assessed. Meanwhile, international communities have spoken with the two generals under urgent need of ceasefire. A diplomatic source stated that they were not overly worried about a Benghazi-like assault on different embassies, as it's a fortress has withstood demonstrators trying to overrun it in the past. The United Nations has called for immediate ceasefire, as the African Union and international bodies alike. Earlier on Tuesday, Sudan's army denied any knowledge of a 24-hour ceasefire that was suggested. Analysts say that the fighting in the capital is unprecedented and could be prolonged despite its regional and global calls for ceasefire as diplomats mobilize. Battles have taken place throughout the country, and there are fears of regional spillover of the conflict that has seen airstrikes, artillery, and heavy gunfire in densely populated areas. Sudan's influential neighbor Egypt has said as it's discussed with Saudi Arabia, South Sudan, and Djibouti the need to make every effort to preserve stability and safety. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi called on the two sides to return to negotiating tables. On Twitter, Delgado called on the international community to intervene against Burhan, branding him a radical Islamist who is bombing civilians from the air. We will continue to pursue al-Burhan and bring him to justice, said Hemeti, whose Rapid Support Force and his predecessor, Janjaweed in Darfur, have previously been accused of atrocities and war crimes themselves. The fighting broke out after bitter disagreements between al-Burhan and Hemeti over the planned integration of the RSF into the regular army, a key condition for the final deal aimed at ending the crisis since the 2021 coup. Those in Sudan, wow. You guys got a lot going on. Let us know what's going on the ground and let us know if you see these things continuing to prolong. Let's keep it in East Africa and go to Ethiopia. The Justice Bureau of the Tigray region interim administration has begun releasing prisoners who were arrested during the 2 years war with the federal government as of yesterday. The head of the bureau, Hadush Tesfa, told the Addis Standard media outlet that prisoners who are being released were arrested amidst the war, accused of violating about 30 different prohibitions. Most of the prisoners were rank and file members of the Provisional Regional Administration installed by the federal government after its forces had controlled the capital. Others were accused of collaborating with the provisional government. The decision to release the detainees was made in accordance with the peace deal signed with the federal government. Hadush said, noting that it also aims to give opportunities to those citizens in prison who participate in the reconstruction of the war-torn region. Haddouche also stated that prisoners who stand accused of crimes relating to murder, sexual violence, and serious injuries will not be released. He added that the release does not include those who have been accused of cooperating with the Eritrean government and any other foreign nationality. He also noted that accurate total number of departing prisoners will be disclosed soon after its full data is collected. On March 30th, the federal government released Tigray former officials following the decision of the Ministry of Justice to terminate criminal charges against former top civilian and military leaders who were members of the TPLF. Those in Ethiopia, let us know your thoughts and let us know how you feel about inmates that are soon to be released. Let's go to North Africa, Morocco, as inflation has been soaring. The inflation surge, about 10% year on year in February, including a 20% rise in food products, has endured the executive criticism from all sides in the middle of the holy month of Ramadan, when consumption has increased. The rise in prices is a disgrace, one government official said. We are an agricultural country and yet vegetables are expensive. At the beginning of February, the government suspended the export of certain products, notably tomatoes, in order to supply the local market. The head of one of the government factions, Ahmed Al-Lahimi, stated that the crisis questions the visibility of the Moroccan agricultural model, since the key sector of the economy is exposed to recurrent droughts and climate change. That official stated, agriculture must undergo a revolution to change its production system, move towards food sovereignty, and produce what we consume in the first place. In 2008, Morocco adopted an ambitious Green Morocco plan, which enabled it to achieve food self-sufficiency between 50 and 100%. Since the adoption 15 years ago, agricultural production has doubled in value. But the kingdom remains at the mercy of a drought that has become structural, and it reduces the cultivized area and therefore supply and causes prices to rise. The Green Morocco Plan, renamed the Generation Green for the period of 2020 to 2030, has made fruit and vegetable exports a priority, which has weighed on the local market and encouraged soaring prices. There are calls for reorientation of Moroccan agriculture policy towards a strategy that ensures food security, starting with the seed industry. Another difficulty for the executive is reforming the marketing system, which has been plagued by middlemen who earn 3 to 4 times more than the transfer value. The government has announced several operations to fight speculators. These measures have not had the expected results, though. In the meantime, the Central Bank of Morocco last month raised its key rate to 3%, the third increase in 6 months, in order to curb the galloping inflation that is affecting the modest households. Those in Morocco, let us know on your thoughts and let us know how you're dealing with the soaring inflation on food prices, especially during your guys' holy month of Ramadan. Let's go to the Caribbean and end it there. The CARICOM has had Caribbean officials talk about crime in the Caribbean. As the region seeks solutions to crime, a Caribbean leader is calling on artists to examine the music that they output. Barbados Prime Minister Maya Mottley said that we cannot have Caribbean music continuing to denigrate women and promoting guns. She is quoted, "This has nothing to do with curtailing anybody's freedom of speech, and it has to do with the mirror image. At the end of the day, if we are looking into the mirror and only seeing women as objects, then that is how people are going to treat them in our societies." Mia Mottley said that the fight against crime cannot just lie with governments. It has to include artists, sportsmen, and the youth. Maya Mottley made the comments while speaking on a panel of discussion on Monday at the regional synopsis of violence as a public health issue, the CARICOM challenge in Trinidad and Tobago. She called for more cooperation among Caribbean leaders in the fight against crime. Mottley said that it was unheard of in her day as a criminal attorney, and revealed that a lot of murders in the region are being committed by people with multiple murder charges, and people are getting bail for murder. She stated, if you can get people to court with 9 to 12 months, you have a good chance of a person not given bail. After 12 months, Any number could play, so why are we spending money separately and individualizing forensic labs? Why aren't we going and pooling training together? Because most police services in this region do not have enough forensic people to satisfy conditions, and we need to be able to pull it together. She also stressed the need for proactive prosecutions rather than reactive prosecutions, stating that security was the only pillar added in the last 20 years to be revised. She also called on the rotation of judges and magistrates to ensure that there is no familiarity with counsel, as well as Caribbean arrest warrants that would enable countries to bypass extradition issues. Those in the Caribbean, let us know if you agree on the Barbados Prime Minister's words on the music itself and the art itself being an influence in crime in the Caribbean. We end today's broadcast with the African proverb of the day, and it comes from no particular nation or ethnic group, and it reads, I honor my need to rest and recharge. Once again, I honor my need to rest and recharge. Dream. Yeah. You guys know the rest. Let me know your interpretation of the African proverb of the day, as well as your views, questions, comments, and concerns on the top stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for today and any other day that we upload an episode. For Kush News on Kush Convos TV, I'm Ochanda. We'll see you soon.